Day 10 of the 12 days of MLB rankings is here, and that means we're going to be ranking the top 30 relief pitchers in Major League Baseball. This will not be for every team. This is just straight up who I think are the 30 best relievers. And to be honest, I almost don't care about reliever ERA. It's too volatile. We're looking at stuff that is more predictable. Stuff, K rates, walk rates, chase rates, whiff rates. So before you get yelling at me in the comment section, which deservedly so, I'm not perfect, make sure you are subscribed to the channel so you don't miss out on any of the content. Top 30 pitchers in starting baseball tomorrow, and of course on Christmas Day, the top 50 players in the league. Drop a like on the video if you are enjoying it, and now you can get in the comment section down below and yell at me. Follow me on my social media, GiraffeNeckMarc. Links are in description. Let's get going into these reliever rankings. Getting the top 30 relievers started at the number 30 spot, Cole Sands of the Minnesota Twins. Cole Sands, underrated player. I think a lot of people don't really know him as a reliever because he was over with the Twins last season, but in 71 innings, he was pretty awesome. A 3.28 ERA, a whip under 1 at .995, and a FIP at 2.63. Some of the best in Major League Baseball. Cole Sands was rocking a 29.1% K rate with a 4% walk rate. If there's anything with his game, it's that he doesn't get any really ground balls or extension, but the K rate, the walk rate was elite, one of the best in baseball. He got a bunch of chases. People weren't really barreling up the ball that well. He's got a really good cutter and four seam right now that's working with a nasty split finger. Those three pitches right there make Cole Sands a very good reliever. And with a fastball touching 96-ish, with that cutter, with that splitter, it's a good three-pitch combination. I love him in the top 30 here. Twins are doing something out there in Minnesota with pitching. Underrated king, current free agent at number 29, Chris Martin. We got to throw some respect on Chris Martin's name. Over the last 2 years, Chris Martin has low-key been one of the best relievers in terms of run prevention in Major League Baseball, and last year was a career season for him. While the ERA was higher than the previous year, 3.45 as opposed to 1.05 in 2023 with the Red Sox, Martin struck out almost 28% of the batters he faced. He only walked 1.7% of the batters he faced. That's disgusting. Doesn't give up any barrels, a lot of soft contact. In 44 innings last year, he had a whip at 1.128, a 2.78 FIP. And again, over the last couple years, looking at an ERA like in the low twos with little to no runs allowed, little to no home runs allowed. It's just a really good pitcher. Criminally underrated. I love him in the top 30 here. For the 28th best reliever in Major League Baseball, Robert Suarez of the San Diego Padres. When Robert Suarez came into games last year, he ended them. Tough to beat this guy with the stuff that he has. A fastball touching 100 miles an hour, a sinker that moves a ton and also touches 100 miles an hour with a changeup. He had some of the best velo in all of Major League Baseball. He also didn't really walk anybody, a walk rate at 6%, a ton of chase. Huge reason why the Padres were able to make the playoffs. Turning him into their closer was a fantastic decision. 36 saves on the year, a 2.77 ERA in 65 innings with a whip at 1.046. Suarez is a really good pitcher. The stuff's nasty. Just watch him. You can't really hit him that well. Next up at number 27, got another San Diego Padre, Jason Adam. Acquired from the Rays at the trade deadline, Adam was amazing last season, and especially for the Padres, he was really good. Overall in the year, 74 appearances, a 1.95 ERA in 73 innings pitched with a whip at .855. I mean, that is just so disgusting. With the Padres, like I said, he was even better. A 1.01 ERA in 26 innings with a whip at .788. Get out of town. He was striking out 30% of the batters he faced with the Padres, walking under 7%. Another guy who gets crazy whiff rates, crazy chase rates. You can see what I like in relievers, and Jason Adams one of those guys, and his fastball, changeup, slider, sweeper combo, 4 pitches out of the bullpen, that's lethal. That's why he's one of the best in the league. Just missing on the top 25, at number 26, I've got Lucas Erceg of the Kansas City Royals. Erceg's got some crazy stuff. He's got a fastball that touches 100 miles an hour. That slider, really nasty. And last year in 61 innings, split between the A's and the Royals, a 3.36 ERA, a whip at 1.054, a FIP at 2.53. And again, when he got to the Royals, a team who's been able to get a lot out of pitching recently, he was even better. A whip at .840 in 25 innings. Huge reason why they were able to make that playoff push. In Kansas City, he had a 32% K rate, 3% walk rate. I'm all about Lucas Erceg. This guy could be flying up lists next season. The stuff is good. The pitcher's good. He's nasty. Getting the top 25 started at number 25, I've got Trevor McGill of the Milwaukee Brewers. McGill is a major reason why the Brewers had no problem trading Devon Williams on an expiring contract. Last year in 46 innings, McGill was awesome. 2.72 ERA, a whip right around 1 at 1.014, and a FIP at 3.10. He was able to strike out 27% of the batters he faced, walking under 8% at 7.7. The fastball velo is crazy. Again, another guy whose fastball touches 100 miles per hour consistently, a ton of chase. He really only throws 2 pitches, fastball and curveball, and yet it's extremely effective. Nobody really hits Trevor McGill at all. The barrel rates were crazy low. While he's a little bit more of a fly ball guy, it doesn't matter. The dude throws gas. The curveball's disgusting. He's a top 25 reliever. For the 24th best reliever in Major League Baseball, you know I had to throw a random Met on here, and that's going to be Denny Nunes. While Nunes ended the season hurt, only threw 35 innings, those could have been some of the most dominant 35 innings in Major League Baseball. A 2.31 ERA, a whip at .914, and a FIP at 2.22. He struck out 35.6% of the batters he faced, walking only 5.9% for an elite K to walk ratio. Denny's slider was disgusting. He was like 99th to 100th percentile in chase rate, whiff rate, K rate, expected batting average, expected ERA, ground ball rate. He does everything you'd want out of a fireman reliever, and that's exactly what Nunes is, just using 2 pitches with that slider and 4-seam. They're both disgusting. I can't wait for this guy to be back in 2025. It's going to really help this bullpen so much. For the 23rd best reliever in Major League Baseball, heading out to Houston to talk about Bryan Abreu of the Astros. While last season was quote-unquote a down season for Abreu because his ERA started with a 3 rather than a 1 like it did the previous 2 years, in 78 innings, he still was absolutely disgusting, striking out nearly 32% of the batters he faced, walking under 10%, which is a big deal for Abreu, who tends to kind of walk some guys. A whip at 1.162, a FIP at 3.49. The stuff is out of control with Bryan Abreu as well. Again, I will tend to lead stuff over numbers for relievers over one season because they throw so little. The numbers are more volatile, but what doesn't change is the stuff, and a 97-mile-per-hour fastball with a wipeout slider puts him as one of the best relievers in the game. Next up at number 22, I've got Luke Weaver of the New York Yankees. Whoa, Luke Weaver moves to the bullpen and is disgusting. Honestly, didn't see it coming. I don't even think the Yankees thought he was going to be this good. Luke Weaver could have saved the Yankee season last year, 84 innings, which is just so valuable, a 2.89 ERA, a whip under 1 at .929. He was throwing some gas on the mound too, 96, 97 miles an hour. Really, really good changeup from Luke Weaver. That's his big out pitch along with the cutter. 31% K rate, which was 93rd percentile. 33.5% whiff rate, which was 94th percentile. He was getting people to chase. This was by far the best season of Luke Weaver's career, and while it's in the bullpen as opposed to a starter, which is what he was originally drafted for, yeah, I don't think the Yankees care. The Yankees are happy. Luke Weaver, part of that mega bullpen out in the Bronx. He's a stud. And then just missing on the top 20, at number 21, I've got Ryland Glacies of the Atlanta Braves. Ryland Glacies was awesome last year. He's just a really good reliever year in and year out. The ERA was among the lowest in Major League Baseball. The whip was at .73 last year, which is also disgusting. 69 innings, nice. He had 34 saves, 2.65 FIP. Again, the whip at .73 is just insane. His K rate did drop a little bit, down to 26%, but it doesn't matter because he doesn't really walk anybody. The changeup, the 4-seam, the slider, the sinker, 4 different pitches, and the Baseball Savant page is all red. It's one of the best relievers in baseball. Criminally underrated. I might be even underrating him, having him not inside the top 20. It's just that there are some guys up here that are such dogs. But Ryland Glacies, also unbelievably good. Getting the top 20 started at the number 20 spot, I've got Ryan Walker of the San Francisco Giants. I think a lot of you might not be hip to Ryan Walker. One of the most unique arm slot pitchers in baseball. Kind of throws 3/4 sidearmish, and it's sinkers and sliders. They break different ways, and nobody knows what's coming. Walker had a really good 2023 with the Giants, but it's safe to say he broke out last year. 80 innings, a 1.91 ERA, a whip at .85 with a FIP at 2.52. Disgusting numbers. He struck out 32% of the batters he faced, walking under 6%. And what do you know? The hard hit rate, amazingly low. The average exit velo, nobody hits the ball hard. Great expected batting average, great expected ERA. Tons of ground balls, no barrels, no walks, tons of strikeouts, tons of whiffs. Ryan Walker, you're seeing the clips. The stuff is disgusting. Definitely a top 20 reliever in the game. Major, where did this guy come from? At number 19, Edwin Escobar. Escobar last year only threw 41 innings for the Rays, but what do you know? The Rays got the most out of him. They found a diamond in the rough. Those 41 innings were dominant. 1.5 ERA, a whip at .816, and a FIP at 1.7. Escobar was striking out 35.8% of the batters he was facing, walking only 5. And again, the Baseball Savant page. No hard hits, no barrels, no walks, tons of chases, tons of whiffs. Throwing 94, 95 miles an hour. 4-seam changeup cutter is his main pitch mix. Another unique arm angle, unique arm slot. This guy's stuff was just unbelievable. This is what the Rays do. They find major league caliber players and they turn them into awesome relievers, and that's exactly what Escobar is. Really interested to see what he does in 2025. We stand Edwin Escobar in this household. Next up at number 18, I've got Matt Strom of the Philadelphia Phillies. Matt Strom, low-key, maybe was one of the best relievers in baseball last year. A 33% K rate, a 4.6% walk rate. Disgusting. He made the All-Star team in 62 innings. He had a 1.87 ERA, a whip at .75, with a FIP at 2.29. It's the best decision ever to make this guy a bullpen arm. Because as a starter, he was struggling, but as a reliever, he's disgustingly good. That K to walk ratio is crazy. The slider is really good with the cutter to build off of it from the left side. Matt Strom is definitely a top 20 reliever in the game. Coming in at number 17, I've got San Diego Padres reliever Jeremiah Estrada. I know he's not the closer, but I think he's probably the best arm in this bullpen. Last year, Estrada had a streak where he struck out 13 consecutive batters, the most in Major League Baseball history. In 61 innings, a 2.95 ERA, a whip at 1.06, with a FIP at 2.07. Again, strikeouts were crazy for this guy. He had a K rate at 37% last year. The Cubs cut this guy. They didn't want him. The Padres picked him up for free, and he became one of the best relievers in baseball instantly. A whiff rate at 36%, a chase rate at 33.5%. The fastball is disgustingly good, touching 100 miles an hour consistently. And he's also got a ridiculous slider and an amazing splitter. This dude is just so good. Next up at number 16, I've got Kirby Yates. Whatever team signs Kirby Yates is going to be getting a criminally underrated reliever. He had the 1 year in 2022 with Atlanta where he was weird and honestly was coming off of injury after some injuries before. But since 2023, Kirby Yates has been awesome. And last year with the Rangers, he was absolutely disgusting. He finished 8th in the Cy Young voting casually. 61 innings pitched last year, 33 saves, a 1.17 ERA. A whip at .827 is literally disgusting with a FIP at 2.5. And the thing that was crazy about Kirby Yates, a 36% K rate last year. 36% K rate, 11.8% walk rate. That's higher than normal on the walk side, but if you're getting that many strikeouts, it doesn't really matter when guys get on base like that. Kirby Yates was awesome last season. At 37, 38 years old next year, he is still going to be a very valuable piece for somebody in the bullpen. Halfway through the video at number 15, I've got Michael Kopech of the Los Angeles Dodgers. Kopech, as soon as he left the White Sox, became disgusting. The dude's stuff was insane in Los Angeles. I honestly don't even care about his numbers with the White Sox. With the Dodgers, 24 innings, a 1.13 ERA, a whip at .792. That's the biggest difference. He was giving up 0 hits, a 2.54 FIP, and then when he got to the Dodgers, he was rocking a 33% K rate with an 11% walk rate. That fastball is over 100 miles an hour, and that's really the only pitch he has to throw, and nobody touches it. Michael Kopech, top 15. For the 14th best reliever in Major League Baseball, let's head out west to the Mariners with Andres Munoz. Munoz is just kind of really good, and honestly, I could be even underrating him possibly because he put together his 3rd straight season of an ERA below 3, 59 1/3 innings pitched this year, 2.12 ERA with a whip under 1 at .961 and a FIP at 3.35. Shockingly, Munoz struck out a ton of batters again, a 33% K rate, 11% walk rate. The slider was his main pitch last year. Nobody was touching it. The 4-seam touches 100. These are just kind of how relievers are built now. You're seeing a common theme. High strikeouts plus velo equals domination. And that's why it matters so much. Munoz at number 14. Sneaky, one of the best relievers in baseball, still on the free agent market. At number 13, I've got Jeff Hoffman. Hoffman, the last 2 years with the Phillies, changed how he was. He became a reliever out in Philadelphia, and he was disgusting. Over the last 2 years, Hoffman's thrown about 120 innings of low 2 ERA baseball, a whip under 1 for 2 seasons, over 100 plus innings, and a FIP at 2.57. His K rate has been 33%. His walk rate dropped last year down to 6%, which made it even crazier how good he was. The stuff out of the bullpen is legit. There's a chance a team might sign him and make him a starter, but as of right now on the free agent market, he's a reliever, and that's where I'm ranking him here at number 13. Another free agent pitcher coming in at number 12, I've got Tanner Scott. Scott spent last year with the Marlins and the Padres, and he was dominant with both. He's arguably the best left-handed reliever in baseball. The stuff is disgusting. The 4-seam has some serious life, and that slider at times feels unhittable. Scott last year in 72 innings, 1.75 ERA, a whip at 1.125 with a FIP at 2.92. He was striking out over 10 batters per 9. He gave up almost no home runs last year, and with a K rate nearly at 30%, I know the walk rate is a little bit high. That's always been Tanner Scott's issue, has been the control, which is why I don't have him inside the top 10. But in terms of stuff, and even with the Padres, you saw him drop that walk rate down to 8%. If he can do that again next year, this is a top 10 reliever in the game. And then just missing out on the top 10 at number 11, I've got Griffin Jack of the Minnesota Twins. If you guys aren't hip to Griffin Jack, you best get hip to him now. Last year, 71 innings, 2.03 ERA with a whip at .873. He had a 1.94 FIP, a 2.05 ERA plus. He walked 1.9 batters per 9 innings, gave up almost no home runs. He had a K rate disgustingly high at 34.4% with a walk rate at 5.4%. Fun fact about Griffin Jack too, he's from the Air Force. Nobody gets drafted out of the Air Force. And he's got this demon sweeper that nobody can touch with a four-seam fastball that gets in the upper 90s. The stuff is crazy good from Griffin Jack's. Borderline top 10. Getting the top 10 started at the number 10 spot, I've got Ryan Hesley of the St. Louis Cardinals. Hesley is just so good. The dude throws absolute gas. Fastball average miles per hour last year was 99.6. That's disgusting. The slider was really good again last year as well. Some of the highest breaking ball run value in Major League Baseball. He was rocking a near 30% K rate last year with an 8.6% walk rate. Nobody barreled up the baseball, 3.7% barrel rate. The chase rates were through the roof. The whiff rates were through the roof. The guy just has crazy swing and miss stuff and is one of the best relievers in the game. I'm interested to see if the Cardinals hold on to him. Coming in at number 9, back to the Minnesota Twins, Jawan Duran. Now, Duran didn't have necessarily statistically as good of a season as Griffin Jack's, but I just think his stuff is actually out of a video game. His four-seam averages 100.5 miles an hour. His splitter averages 97 miles an hour. That's right. The splitter is 97 miles an hour and it's untouchable. The ground ball rate is through the roof. 61, almost 62% ground balls last year while striking out nearly 30% of the batters he faced. The walk rate was at 6.6%, which is fantastic. And of course, nobody barrels the baseball. Nobody hits the ball hard. The dude is not even human on the mound at times. Despite having a bit of a more human year last year, I still have Josh Hader coming in inside the top 10 at number 8. Hader's first season with the Astros was not the greatest. He finished with an ERA at 3.8, which is the highest of his career since 2022. 71 innings pitched. He had a whip under 1, though, still at .958, which is kind of insane to think about. Hader struck out 37.8% of the batters he faced, walking 9%. This is why you don't always care about reliever ERA too much, because a 3.8 ERA makes you think it wasn't great. But then you see Hader was striking out nearly 40% of the batters he was facing, walking under 10%, and you go, oh, that's one of the best relievers in baseball. Along with the stuff still being great, the sinker at 96, the slider is pretty hard to hit. Hader is still one of the best relievers in the game, even if last year was statistically a down year. For the 7th best reliever in Major League Baseball, let's go to Baltimore and talk about Felix Bautista. Bautista was disgusting. Now, he did not pitch in 2024, but that's how good he was in 2023. I don't care. This is one of the best relievers in baseball, and when he comes back healthy, you're going to realize that he might even be the 2nd or 3rd best reliever in the game. In 2023, Bautista, he pitched 61 innings, had a 1.48 ERA, struck out 110 batters, a whip under 1 at .92. I mean, in general, he's pitched 2 seasons in the majors, 126 innings of a 1.85 ERA and a whip under 1. He has a K rate at 46.4%. That's not even making any sense. His K rate is higher than his whiff rate. That's disgusting. He throws 100 miles an hour. He has a devastating splitter. By the way, just to show you how crazy Jawan Duran's splitter is, Felix Bautista, who throws 100 miles an hour, his splitter was 88 miles an hour in 2023. And he could even mix in a slider if he had to. He throws from a crazy arm angle. The dude's nasty. And then just missing on the top 5 at number 6, I've got AJ Puck of the Arizona Diamondbacks. So with Puck, you gotta look at his year as a reliever only, because when this dude is a reliever, the numbers are legitimately insane. When he got to Arizona, he was a reliever only, and even at times the Marlins last year after they tried to make him a starter again for no reason. In 27 innings last year with the Diamondbacks, Puck had a 41.7% K rate and a 4.9% walk rate. That is disgustingly good. Puck's fastball out of the bullpen, upper 90s. He's got a slider, he's got a sweeper, sinker. He's even got a splitter and a changeup that he can show at times. That's so many pitches out of the pen that are all disgusting. Crazy whiff rates, crazy K rates, crazy barrel rates. The extension's nuts because he's 6'7". He's one of the most unique pitchers in the game right now out of the bullpen. Just outside the top 5, though, for me at number 6. Because getting the top 5 started at number 5, I've got newly acquired New York Yankee, Devon Williams. Devon Williams is just simply one of the best relievers in baseball. He's pitched 6 seasons at the major league level, has a 1.83 ERA in 235 innings with a whip right around 1. And last year, he was just as good, not as many innings, only 21, but a 1.25 ERA, a whip under 1 again. He was rocking a 43% K rate with a 12% walk rate, which is kind of his thing. He will walk some guys, but he has one of the coolest pitches in baseball. That changeup slash screwball that he throws is just, it's the airbender. It's disgusting. And his fastball sitting around 95 miles an hour. Devon Williams is a dog out in the pen. One of the best closers, best relievers in the game. Keeping it in the city of New York at number 4, I've got my boy Edwin Diaz. It was an up and down season for Edwin, but still, despite that, Edwin was still great. Again, ERA misleading, 3.52. But in 53 innings, coming off major surgery to his knee, he was still able to strike out nearly 40% of the batters he faced, a 38.9% K rate, a 38.1% whiff rate. That was 198th percentile in Major League Baseball. His extension was crazy. Nobody hit the ball hard off of Edwin. His hard hit rate was amazing last last year. Like, nobody was touching him. And he only threw 2 pitches, the 4-seam and the slider. And when those things are on, he's literally untouchable. Ask baseball players around the league. When Edwin Diaz is cooking, you don't want to get in his kitchen. You can't touch him. For the 3rd best reliever in Major League Baseball, Kade Smith of the Cleveland Guardians. Let's throw some respect on Kade Smith's name. I saw 75 innings of him last year, and I'm sold. That's it. I don't need anything else. Kade Smith's the guy. In those 75 innings, he had a 1.91 ERA, a whip under 1 at .90. He struck out 103 batters in 75 innings, a K rate at 35.6%, a walk rate at 5.9%. I arguably thought this guy could have been the Rookie of the Year. Think he was a little underrated. Extension rate is crazy. He's touching upper 90s with that 4-seam. He's got a splitter, which is just sometimes unhittable. Kade Smith is the most underrated reliever in baseball. He is so good. Watch the pitches that I'm talking over here. They are disgusting. Nobody's touching them. Just missing out on the number 1 spot. At number 2, I've got Mason Miller of the Oakland A's. I've been banging the Mason Miller drum for years, and it finally paid off. He is one of the best relievers in Major League Baseball. 4-seams, he throws more 100-mile-per-hour pitches than anybody in Major League Baseball. His 4-seam averaged 100.9 miles an hour last year. His slider is unhittable off that 4-seam. It's crazy. He was rocking a 41.8% K rate last year with an 8.4% walk rate, a 40% whiff rate, 37% chase rate. Everything on Baseball Savant is bright red. It is all above 90th percentile. And on the year, 65 innings, 104 strikeouts, a .88 whip, and a 2.49 ERA. Disgusting! But of course, coming in at number 1 of the Cleveland Guardians, Emmanuel Clase. He's the best reliever in baseball. I know he had a freak out in the playoffs and he wasn't as sharp, but what he did last season was one of the most impressive reliever seasons we've seen in baseball history, and he does it basically throwing only cutter slider. 78% cutter last year, 21% slider. In 74 1/3 innings, he had 47 saves and an ERA at .61. He had a whip at .66. That's crazy. That's like every 3 innings he pitches, 1.5 guys get on. That's disgusting. Clase last year gave up 5 earned runs, 2 home runs. He walked 10 guys. He finished 3rd in the Cy Young voting, got MVP votes as a closer. It's one of the most dominant seasons we've ever seen out of a reliever. Emmanuel Clase, despite the problems in the postseason, is still easily the number 1 reliever in baseball. So there they are, the top 30 relievers in Major League Baseball, in my opinion. I think my list is going to look a lot different than most, but I'd love to know what you guys are thinking down in the comment section below. Where do you agree with me? Where do you disagree with me? Who was left off the list? Drop a like on the video if you did enjoy it, as well as subscribe so you don't miss out on the 2 bangers coming at you in the next few days. And that's where I'll wrap it up. You guys know the drill from here on out. YouTube recommends you watch this video. This is my most recent upload, so click through those if you have not yet seen them. Thank you guys so much for the amazing support. We are almost there. 2 more days, and I'll catch you all tomorrow for the starting pitchers. Bye.